Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. And this afternoon, there's been some breaking news coming out about Kyogo Furuhashi and Tottenham. But before we talk about that, we need to talk about Leigh Griffiths. We need to talk about the fact that he is in Australia and he has done an interview. And this is what he says.
I actually loved last night. I want to thank you, by the way, for letting us come to your missus' party last night. It was brilliant. We had a really, really good time. I think one of the best things for me, obviously I don't know you, I met you for the first time yesterday, it was great to see you last night. You're like a normal family man. You're with your daughters, looking after your missus. Do you think at times, because I'll read things that when I've done research, do you think the media have been hard on you at times or just made a story out of you?
They've made a story because I've gave them a story by being stupid in the past. And now, obviously, I don't know what research you've done on the internet, how far you've went back. If you went back the full way when I started basically at Hibs, it'd be a long
I bet you it would.
And it's probably not something to laugh about. Obviously, there's been stuff that I've done that's it's definitely hindered my career a bit, and stages as such. And I think if I could go back, relive my whole life again, but not relive my whole life again, but if I could go back to my start of my Hibs career and say, right, you're gonna have your full career, same kind of career you've had, but every mistake you can rectify. I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I'd probably would have scored over 200 goals for Celtic.
You probably would.
Looking back over Hibs, Wolves, Celtic, chances, everything that I've done, blah, blah. Yeah, if I screwed the head on properly, I would have easily scored over 200 goals for Celtic.
What do you think it was that sort of off the pitch, you know, those certain antics, what was it? Was it in the moment? Because I guess as well, Leigh, right, this is me, I've only ever played at sort of semi-pro level, but when you're a young lad, you're doing well, you're smashing goals in, you get a big move, everything you do is under the spotlight. So I can sit here, Leigh, and tell you now that when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, I made mistakes. But guess what? People don't know about them because I wasn't a high-profile footballer. So everyone makes those mistakes. When it's highlighted, it obviously makes it more difficult, right?
Yeah, especially when you go to Celtic as well. Hibs was bad. I've done a lot of mistakes on it at Hibs. But it's not when you go to Celtic that you've got basically the full of Scotland media-wise on your case. You couldn't go for a Nelson Riddle with it. If somebody wanted to take a picture in your toilet, it'd go straight in the paper. Like, that's how bad it got. And it got to the point for me, like, it's like, do you actually want to go outside? It's like, it got to the point where, like, can I go to Asda? Or can I go for food without, like, it going anywhere? Like I said, like, I could go for a beer outside with my mates, and somebody will take a picture, put it online, and that picture will go in the papers. Leigh Griffiths out having drinks. I'm thinking, how the fuck is that even a story?
So what? You're a human being.
Exactly. And I got to the point that some of the stories that were going in the paper, and me, I'm fickle. I used to read comments online, what they were saying, blah blah. And it got to the point where people are writing on Instagram, how the fuck is this making headlines? Like, what is the point? Like, you've got people that are, like, murdering folk, blah, blah. And this guy's, again, he's out having a beer or he's doing something, like, that it's not even newsworthy. And you're sticking in the paper. For what? Why?
And even the fact that you can't go out without someone taking a picture, that's annoying. You're a footballer. You're a talent at the highest level. But you still deserve to go and have a meal with your mates and a few beers.
But even like after, like me and my missus after games at Celtic, do you want to go for food? I'm thinking, now 9 times out of 10, if that's like anybody else, I will go for food. Would you want to go? We'll pick somewhere, we'll go out, have a nice meal, a couple of drinks, go home. Like we could go out for a meal, for argument's sake, 7:30. We'd be back in the house by 9 o'clock. Because she's worried, I'm getting worried that we're getting pictured out having a Chinese meal after a game. Leigh Griffiths out for Chinese meal. Like, that's the kind of stuff that will go in the paper. And I'm not making excuses for why that why my career's went downhill. But I'm just saying, like, this is the stuff that people didn't see. Or he's out enjoying himself, like he had a Chinese meal after game, and what? Are you going to take a picture of the rest of the 50 folk that's in the restaurant? Just because they're not famous, they're having the exact same meal as me, but because I'm famous, it gets to make the paper. Why?
You just want to be left alone as well. Yeah.
And that, I got to the point where she used to ask, you want to go for food? I was like, nah. I don't want to go out.
I don't blame you.
Even when the kids used to come and stay, I didn't used to hate it because I love my kids and my kids are my life. But it was like trying to take them out or try and do something fun with them became very, very, very hard. Because people just either want to give you abuse when you're out with the kids, which is, in my opinion, disgusting. If my kids, obviously whoever they support, if they see their rival player, and decide to give him abuse when he's out with his kids, not on for me.
Nah, no.
We'll leave that there. I'll leave the full link to the podcast under this. It is a lengthy one. It is an hour and 41 minutes long. I suggest that you watch the whole thing. That's me just taking a snippet of his time at Celtic. He does talk about this time that he scored the 2 goals against England. I think he's one player that we can all agree on that did split opinion. Still to this day, he still splits opinion. But it's good to see that he's enjoying life down in Australia. It's good to see that further on in the interview he can talk about, he can go out, he can do things. You know, he has a life again, which is something he felt that he never had in Scotland. I know the time that he went through a really dark period in his life, and I met Leigh on numerous occasions. I met him in Kirkcaldy when we had him at CSC, and he was a fantastic guy. I met him going into Ibrox. I met him at Celtic Park. I met him. He was in the queue with me when we played against the Huns the day that he waved the flag when we beat them from the top tier. Yeah, I think personally, I'm glad that he's found himself. He does go in this interview to say that he's played in front of 60,000 and he's just as happy, if not happier, playing his football now where he's playing his football, because he can get on with playing his football and there's none of the nonsense that's outside football affecting him. So back to the big story of the day. Obviously, Tottenham have sold Harry Kane, and there's a couple of the podcasters down at Spurs and everything Spurs. There's quite a few of them been saying that Tottenham Hotspur are eyeing Kyogo Furuhashi as a Harry Kane replacement, which would be absolutely devastating for Celtic. He is one player that Celtic cannot let go this window. The window has been bad enough without selling Kyogo. Selling Jota, and then for him to then be loaned out was absolutely disgraceful. I think now if we were to sell Kyogo, it would just be a complete slap in the face to Celtic fans. The 28-year-old Kyogo Furuhashi has been nothing short of astonishing in his time that he's been here. He's scored 56 goals and 11 assists in 85 appearances for Celtic. It's no wonder that Tottenham and Ange Postecoglou's coming looking at him. They're considering him, but is it a player that we can afford to lose? I would say no. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. One of the ones that I'm reading just now, it said if Tottenham were to go for Kyogo, would he like to join Postecoglou again? He has just signed that new contract at Celtic, which would make it slightly harder for him to leave. Celtic don't have to let him leave just yet. They can keep him for the rest of the season without having any worries. Will the player make moves? He has come out and said that he's enjoying his time at Celtic and he wants to repay the fans this season again. But with the kind of numbers that have been branded about, somebody said that it would be 16 million would all it take. Absolutely not. Celtic will not sell him for any kind of stupid money like that unless Ange Postecoglou has put some ridiculous trigger into his contract that he knows about. It will be interesting to see. The blog does go on to say Furuhashi represents an interesting opportunity for Tottenham. Let's wait and see if we sign him. He signs off. So on that note, I hope this one has no bones about it at all. I don't think that Ange can come back and get Kyogo, but you never know with Celtic. This transfer window could turn out to be an absolute nightmare if we sell Kyogo Furuhashi. So tell me your comments. Tell me in the comments what you think about that, and have a great day, Celtic fans all around the world.
lit. Roll up to the party, roll up to the party. Roll